Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. If you're watching this from North Korea, fair play to you.
Yeah.
God knows how you've managed that. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm King John Do.
French and North Korean.
So easy.
French Korean, nice one. Yeah,
pretty
Norwegian thrown in as well. So
nice. Office Bloke Mike is going to tell you about our Patreon page.
Go and have a quick patreon.com, put in Office Blokes React. If you want to support our channel, loads of people have done already. Starting at just, a small price. Go down there, check it out.
Do you want me to overdub a price there? Whatever this changes.
We're just looking to Patreon out. We're just changing it slightly here and there. So, but yeah, go down there, check it out.
Yeah, good stuff. And Office Bloke Dad on Instagram is going to tell you about our two other channels.
Yeah, cheers. Office Bloke Dave in Korea, North Korea. We've got Office Blokes Try, where we try different things from around the world. Coming soon, the Death Nut Challenge. And also we got Office Blokes Podcast, where we talk shit for a bit.
Yep, good stuff. And also head over to facebook.com. Just £1.50.
Fantastic.
Search for the Office Blokes.
Loads of people already.
Yeah. You can find all things Office Blokes on our Facebook page. Right then, weird things that only exist in North Korea. I watched I think it was a Lad Bible thing of someone who'd escaped North Korea twice and then been sent back, and then she came back, and her story is harrowing. It's absolutely horrendous.
I can imagine.
But this, I'm not sure what it's going to be other than North Koreans.
Dennis Rodman,
he is a frequenter, isn't he? Apparently. But apparently on the border with China, they've got people who it's more lucrative for them to catch North Koreans and send them back because they get paid by the Chinese government than it is to go out and have a job.
Really?
So they have civilian border patrols looking for North Koreans all day, every day. And they just like citizens arrest and deport them, and then they get paid.
They get paid for it.
I got up early to go to the border of North Korea when I was in South Korea, and the guy said to me, when I come down, it's only you that's going. I went, really? He went, you still want to go? Because I've cancelled the bus, but I can put you in a taxi. Yeah. I said, how long will it take me? A couple of hours. I went, nah, fuck it.
Just to see the border?
Yeah.
To see the demilitarized zone, demilitarized zone. Fair enough.
It's just a cool place to have gone, wasn't it?
Yeah, if it's half an hour away,
It's like one of my days off, and I was like, it'd be pretty cool to go, and I just went, balls to it, I'm not going on my own.
On the other hand, if the pub's open.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have just tried legging it across the border to see what happens. I'm coming in.
You're back from vacation, and oh boy, do you have a lot to tell everyone around you. When you announced you were going on...
This is the guy that did the what happens to your brain when you're aroused.
Sounds like
it's a few
infographics,
vacation, everyone assumed you were thinking of a normal, safe break from normal life. They couldn't believe it when you told them you were not only going to another country, you were traveling to one of the most dangerous spots in the world for tourists. And they all had the same question. What on earth made you want to take a vacation to North Korea? North Korea is called the Hermit Kingdom for a reason. There's no country on earth more closely guarded from outside eyes. Ruled since 1948 by the Kim dynasty and passed down from father to son over 3 generations, North Korea is a totalitarian communist state, considered one of the strictest dictatorships in the world. Ruled according to the principles of Juche, a philosophy translated as self-reliance, it's mostly in the news for military conflicts and missile tests. But few people know about what goes on inside the isolated nation, which is sandwiched between the powerful nations of China.
Do you remember, is it Kim, who's the leader now?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un, that's the one. Do you remember when there was a barber shop in London offering his haircuts?
Oh, yeah.
And they put a poster up in the front window about doing his haircuts, and the North Korean embassy went and had a word with him.
Really?
And told him it's disrespectful. It was literally the Kim Jong-un haircut, and they had a poster of it and everything.
He needs to sort his skin fade out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And South Korea. It makes a lot of noise for a small nation on a small Asian peninsula, but it's not easy to get inside, and that made you all the more interested to see it for yourself and all the bizarre things that only exist within their borders. The strange North Korean facts begin before you even get in the country, starting with their tourism process. They're the only country in the world where the tourism process is handled entirely through state-controlled bureaus. Companies like Korea International Travel Company and special companies aimed at bringing international athletes to the country approve visitors and lead them on guided tours, with very limited freedom to explore for yourself. Many countries, including the United States, warn or even prohibit tourists from their country from going to North Korea because of the regime's tendency to arrest foreign tourists for the slightest offense. A minor mistake, like walking in the wrong...
Subtitles were on again. That was well distracting
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I've not watched a single bit of the video. I'm just reading the subtitles.
Harry
Reid.
or
Not very
disrespecting
well.
the leader can lead to a lengthy sentence in a North Korean labor camp. Most people can apply to visit North Korea, with one major exception based on profession: journalists. The North Korean regime does not want their secrets getting out too easily. Once you entered North Korea as a tourist, the cultural whiplash began quickly. Nothing's like what you expected back home, starting with time itself. North Korea is one of the only countries in the world that doesn't use a standardized calendar based around widespread dates, seasons, and measurements. Instead, they have their own calendar that was adopted in 1997 on the 3rd anniversary of the death of Juche founder Kim Il-sung. Time is marked from his birth, known as Day of the Sun, and the calendar is a combination of historical Korean-era calendars and their Gregorian calendar. Basically, North Korean dates only begin in 1912 with the birth of their founder. The current year is only 109, and that puts them almost 2,000 years behind the rest of us in years.
Wow.
And so be careful not to make any 2020 vision jokes while visiting. Those guards don't look like they appreciate puns. What's the first thing you do when you start a vacation? Probably take a selfie and upload it to all your social media channels. Not when you arrive in North Korea, because the internet, as you know, doesn't exist. Think about it. Have you ever chatted with someone from North Korea on Twitter? To even own a computer in North Korea, you need to get permission from the government. And each computer is registered with and strictly tracked by the government, more seriously than deadly weapons in some places. Few people in North Korea can afford computers, so the easiest way to access the internet is through computer labs and the internet cafes in big cities. But don't count on being able to surf all your favorite pages. North Korea has its own private intranet, which runs similarly to the basic internet from the 90s, and you'll only be able to access around 30 websites. And most of them
Wow.
are government information and propaganda websites running on slow dial-up connections. As a tourist, you just have to worry about keeping your head down, not making any waves, and learning what you can about the country. But for those who
Sounds like Northwich.
I could say. Sounds like a fun place to go, doesn't it? Hey, like Northwich.
It's such a disregarding where the future's going so much that if you have fast internet in a country that's still developing or not as rich as some of the Western superpowers and stuff, you can really boost your economy massively
course
just
you can.
through gig
Yeah.
economy, and it's madness. There's so much money to be made on the internet for
And there's just-
countries.
It's still in the dark ages, aren't they? I think North Korea. It's it's so militarized, isn't it? And sort of they just control absolutely every aspect of your life over there, don't they? The government and everything. It's
I just don't get.
it's just weird.
I mean, you look at what could be over there. Don't know what it could be like. You look at South Korea. Fucking
I know.
South Korea's booming,
Fastest
isn't it?
internet-
It's
fastest
yeah, of
internet
course
in the
it's-
world, isn't it?
it's a great
Yeah,
place
that's
to go.
right. Yeah.
You know what my theory is? That they are working on the real life Jurassic Park, and North Korea's a front. It's in there somewhere. There's dinosaurs
You
roaming
reckon?
around,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
why they've got this whole thing around
Yeah,
it. That sounds plausible.
of course it is.
What I found with South Korea is that all the men all wear suits and they all wear glasses.
Right? Is that a fashion choice?
No, I think it's just, I don't know why, but when I walked around, I was just looking and I said to my mate, I was with, went, look, everyone's got a suit on, and
Yeah.
everyone's got glasses on.
Well,
I never saw a suit shop or an opticians.
Wow, that's weird.
Maybe I need glasses.
yeah, I think you do.
That's more weird than some of our other videos we've seen. That.
live here, proving your loyalty to the North Korean regime is a constant process, and you find yourself marked by how loyal you and your family are seen as. Ever since 1957, the population of North Korea has been divided into three classes, oddly named after fruits. The tomatoes, the elite class, are called that way because they're red, the color associated with communism inside and out, most likely to be politicians and military officers. They have special privileges and are eligible for elite positions. The apples, the second class, are called that because they're red on the outside but not the inside. Most citizens fall into this class and are seen as needing improvement and frequent surveillance. But they're better off than the grapes, who are the lawbreakers who committed serious crimes, scandalous things like making an illegal phone call. Every citizen has their status or a songbun printed on their identification records, and it influences every aspect of their life,
Wow.
from school to career. Committing a crime isn't good anywhere, but if you did it back home, you'd probably
That's a good old-fashioned bit of communism in practice there, isn't it? We're all created equal, but you're a grape, I'm an apple, he's a tomato. Okay.
Wow.
be spending some time in jail, but you'd be the only person it affects. Not so in North Korea, where the 3 generations rule means your entire family can pay for your crime. Those who commit a crime against the state are sent to the brutal labor camps for punishment and re-education. But so are up to 3 generations of their relatives, even if none of them have ever been accused of a crime. Even if you were a loyal, patriotic member of North Korean society, a tomato can become a grape in an instant because of something their relative did. Family reunions are great, but not when you're reunited digging ditches in a labor camp. Well, at least it's easy to stay out of trouble. You just have to avoid doing anything that would anger the massive surveillance apparatus that works to track down all enemies of the state at the first sign of trouble. We hope you didn't dress too casually when you came on the trip, because it's very easy to get into legal trouble in North Korea for something as simple as your pants. Blue jeans are banned in North Korea because they consider them a symbol of American imperialism, but at least you can easily change your clothing. If you were a resident of North Korea, your life would be strictly controlled, starting with your hair. In the Hermit Kingdom, all residents must have a government-approved hairstyle, one of 28. Unmarried women have to keep their hair short, but married women have more freedom. Women play surprising roles in North Korea, including exclusively filling the role of traffic guards. Remember that grumpy old crossing guard when you were going to school? She looked a lot like Grandma, but your grandma never yelled, "Move it along!" quite like that. In North Korea, traffic police are very different. Staffed entirely by young, attractive women under the age of 26, this position has existed since the early days of the regime. Because the country didn't have traffic lights yet, they had humans direct traffic. The traffic women of North Korea are among the most prestigious positions people aspire to there, with the workers getting higher pay, free housing, and even military honors for doing their job well. We're a long way from the intersection by your elementary school. In your spare time, when you're not being taken on guided tours around the country with the other tourists, you figured you should take in some leisure activities. You heard a game of basketball was being played locally, and you love that game, but it doesn't take long into play to realize that this definitely isn't the basketball you know. They play a game with different rules than anywhere else on the planet. Kim Jong-il had courts installed in all of his palaces, and his son is friends with the NBA bad boy Dennis Rodman. But they've changed major details in the game. 3-pointers are now worth 8 points, missing a free throw subtracts 1 point from the team's score, and any baskets made in the last 8 seconds are now worth 8 points. That makes for a chaotic finish to the game, but a confusing one for any outsiders watching. Recreation in North Korea.
Wonder if they got VAR as well.
What this country, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
It's crazy. It's such an interesting topic, though, isn't it? Because it's so secretive.
Yeah.
Yeah, basketball though.
It's all the more weird because it's so close to like a really modernised, westernised country, you know, like South Korea as well. Because you know they're just like everyday people, aren't they? But the difference is absolutely huge.
It's crackers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's as strange as everything else they do. But the oddness doesn't end when you return to your hotel. You're in a hotel with almost every other tourist in the country, in a centralized location, surrounded by water, on an island in Pyongyang. The Yangakdo Hotel is one of the nicest places in the country, always kept comfortable even when most of the city is without basic comforts like air conditioning. Power goes out regularly in North Korea at night, so much that it can be seen from space as the country goes dark. But you don't have to worry about that. Don't count on enjoying your favorite TV shows though. Like the internet, you can only get a select few TV channels, and they're almost all government propaganda. You were lucky enough to be in North Korea for the biggest event of the year, as the country set the Guinness Book of World Records award for the show with the largest number of participants. That's the Arirang Festival, a massive collection of gymnastics and art exhibits designed to celebrate the North Korean culture and regime, also known as the Arirang Mass Games. They retell an ancient Korean folk story about a young couple torn apart by an evil landlord. Romance and anti-capitalism all in one show, perfect for North Korea. Getting selected to participate is a great honor in the country, but the biggest, strangest secret of North Korea is one very few people get to see unless they're members of the North Korean military, the Korean Demilitarized Zone. Standing between the borders of North and South Korea is the most heavily guarded zone in the world and has been standing since 1953, when an armistice was signed between the two sides of the Korean War. But an armistice isn't a peace deal, and neither North or South Korea acknowledges the other's legitimacy. That leaves them with a 160-mile-long strip of land divided between the North Korean authorities and the United Nations control, with a small meeting area in the middle for negotiations. But things in the DMZ have been anything but peaceful, as there have been hundreds of small conflicts between the two sides, resulting in over 1,000 deaths among the soldiers stationed to guard it. But just because it's the most heavily guarded location on the planet doesn't mean North Korea is letting their propaganda games slip. Large loudspeakers installed on the North Korean side broadcast messages toward the other side, with South Korea sending their own right back. They also send balloons with leaflets attached across the border. These extensive propaganda efforts only ended in 2018 when a no-fly zone was established for the DMZ as an attempt to decrease tensions. But one unique propaganda effort is still standing. Not that it's easy to see unless you're living close to the DMZ. When South Korea built a village on their side of the DMZ with 226 residents to show North Koreans why they should defect, North Korea decided to build one of their own. It's a fully furnished town called Peace Village, filled with houses, schools, and hospitals, but it's missing only one thing: people. North Korea claims that it houses 200 people, but no one has ever seen anyone there, and close observers say there are a lot of giveaways that the village is a shell.
There's also like a little children's play school there. It's like green.
Oh,
Fun zone or
Loads
something.
of windows on it.
They talk about that on Reddit a bit, don't they? Apparently.
Sorry, a message from Death Star.
Yeah.
A Death Ship.
From North Korea.
North Korea.
Houses don't have glass installed in the windows, and the lights seem to turn on and off on an automatic cycle. They did briefly have the world's tallest flagpole, designed to eclipse the South Korean one, but now the only time anyone comes into the empty village is to keep it looking fresh and clean. You saw a lot of bizarre things in North Korea, and you can't wait to share them with all your worried friends and family, now that you can access the internet again. Now go watch this other video about the bizarre incident that happened.
Why not
It's
just
weird.
Why
Yeah.
not just fill it with all of the most attractive people you've got and actually have it as a functioning village? If you're trying to show people how great it is,
Yeah.
what's the point in it being an empty shell?
Because I think the reality is for most North Koreans, it just ain't going to be like that.
Yeah, no,
You
but
know-
they're trying to they're just one-upmanship with the South, isn't
Yeah.
it? They're looking across to
Try and
demilitarise.
They're trying to make
Yeah,
it
I
look
suppose
better,
so,
and
yeah.
so like say, look what we've got over here as
Yeah.
well. Everyone in the world knows, mate, it's a fucking shit.
Everyone
Fucking
knows
shit,
it.
mate.
Yeah. Everyone knows it's not like that, don't they? So,
Or
you
is
know.
it an internal propaganda thing where it's like, look at this
Well, that's what I was
utopia
thinking. Maybe
that we're building?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Then they put that on the say, well, this is what could be yours, but it ain't going to happen, is it?
He's a weird as
Just not
fuck
gonna happen.
guy, weird as fuck country. Fucked up the whole fucking start to finish of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so poverty stricken as well. I mean, they just if you can't sell and buy things, to everyone else in the world, you ain't gonna make any money, are you? You're not gonna
It
be
tells you,
sort of
how,
like
tells you how weird it is. As well, Mike. Fucking Dennis Rodman's hanging around there.
well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
says it all, doesn't it?
I don't think I'll be going anytime soon.
No, it's like I say, South
No,
Korea's
it's-
beautiful. Really nice
yeah.
place. Been there a few times, and it really is. It's a top place to go and visit.
Yeah,
But North Korea, never been, never intend to go. Don't want to go.
You just don't want to, do you?
Don't even want to know
would be
about
the
it.
point?
Fucking zero interest in the place.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
What if Kim Jong-un was a fan of the Office Blokes and offered like a couple of $1 million for us to fly out there?
Well,
Mike.
I love North
Ambassador
Korea. It's
Mike.
nice. Food's great.
You got any chicken?
Nice weather.
Why do you think Dennis Rodman was going out there in the first place? Because he had troubles, didn't he? He was probably skint at one point, and it was
Maybe. Yeah.
Fly
It's a bit of
out.
a character, isn't he, to say the least.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So if you're watching Kim Jong-un and you want to give us a couple of mil,
yeah. I've only got chicken and Carly. I'm your mum. I'll be
I wonder
sad.
how long he'll last. How long this regime will last? Because I know his sister's also. He's not well, is he? He's just overindulged, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
a
I guess
fucking
so.
pig.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah, but I
You
think
know.
his sister was earmarked once to take over at one
I don't know if
stage, wasn't
she's
she?
daft as he is.
she's
So,
she's
yeah.
supposed to be the one pulling the strings, from what people say. She's clever and ruthless, a lot worse than him.
Apparently so,
But
yeah.
these dynasties are supposed to be like inherited from the boys of the family, aren't they? Traditionally, so
Yeah.
I don't know where that culture stands in suddenly his sister taking over.
But you're seeing certain places around the world changing a little bit. I mean, you're even seeing, some places in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, sort of like starting to do like women drive now. It's
Yeah.
a start.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Will you see, the larger scale? I know it's big for tourism for Muslims, but would you see the larger scale tourism humping up for the rest of the world? Because they've got the weather, they've got the water, they've got the beaches.
course. Yeah.
They've got a lot of facilities that would attract tourism.
Yeah.
But we all know, as a Brit, it needs that one key component: alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it?
I think they have alcohol in North Korea. I've heard people talk about the fact that they drink there.
Again, they've probably got the weather, probably got the countryside and the
course
scenery.
they
I
have.
bet it's
They've got-
absolutely
yeah, they've got-
amazing,
they've
isn't
got-
it?
they've got
It
all
really
kinds
is,
of stuff
but
there. They've got the
it's
water.
so tightly controlled. I mean, you can't see being like an uprising by anyone anytime soon, can you? What you think? Because I think he was educated over here, wasn't he?
I think he was, yeah,
I think
Kim
he was,
Jong-un.
yeah.
I think he'd have thought that things he'd seen, maybe he didn't like it, but the things he'd seen over here, he'd think, actually, we could do a bit of that in our place. The
Oh,
things
he
we
gets
could
it.
do with
He
it.
has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He overindulges and
right.
shit.
But the
he
others don't.
overindulges in everything that's wrong.
Yeah.
His power
Right,
is in
with you.
question as soon as he takes Western ideals back
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
And I suppose he knows that if he starts going against it, then there's loads of people embedded in the military, older people, who wouldn't like it. And you just get a military coup, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I suppose so. I suppose he's going along with the status quo, isn't he, as well? But yeah, it's
I don't think status quo
strange
have been
one.
over
No, I
there.
don't think they did a concert
they
there.
are.
No. They
Must
were
have-
rocking all over the world, but not there.
Listen, they were rocking all over the world before I was born, so
No chance.
Did
North Korea didn't even exist when you were a kid.
did Kim Jong-un kill one of his uncles by
Yeah.
strapping him to a cannon?
I'm not sure what the method was, but
I'm
it was,
sure he strapped him to
it
the
was
front
not
of
so
a
long
cannon.
allegedly
or
he may
something.
have done something
not so long ago.
like that.
They killed another family member. They poisoned him in Singapore airport. Wasn't that family member
Oh,
as well?
yeah. Oh, I watched a thing where
remember that, yeah.
the girl that got caught and convicted for it, saying she had no recollection of it and she'd been like brainwashed for...
Just been told to. Was it like something on a rag or something? Or?
No, I think didn't she jab him with something?
Can't remember.
I can't remember. It's proper weird though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think she was convinced that she was a spy and she was working... Like she was righteous and she was doing the right thing when really she was going and murdering someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he was a
Weird.
family member, wasn't he?
Yeah.
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 Crazy. Crazy.
Sketch, you know.
Each
Yeah.
their own. Anyway, hope you guys like that too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.